This is What the Podcast. I've never actually seen Bridgerton, so I don't know what they say.
Oh my god.
It's so good. It is so
That
good.
was bad,
I'm kind
Ryan.
of doing like a British baking show thing.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
more the GBBS.
Keep going, keep going.
Great British Baking Show.
This week on the Great British Baking Show.
That's better.
It's like I'm watching a movie.
I hate it. I on it. Take it back.
You're being the J.K.
Did you keep the
Rowling.
receipt? Because I want to take it back. My name's J.K. Rowling.
This is What the Podcast.
Please, it's so. No.
I love that the reason we get canceled is because we made fun of British people.
It's not it. It's not it.
Yeah.
Only on British baking.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to What the Podcast.
You already canceled yourself.
Whatever. Every week I do it. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And together we are.
Ryan and John, and we're keeping that
Are
opening.
we sure
Oh,
we're
yeah.
going to keep that?
No,
we
that's
can do it
staying
one more
in.
time.
Stop. How could you be offending British people? Let's be honest.
No, I'm not even worried about that. I'm not worried about it. Offending British people.
Bridgerton.
It
That's
didn't
kind of like my
land.
Julia Childs. Like, we're going to make beef bourguignon today.
I loved it.
Wow.
On the couch, as always, our producers, the people that tell me I can't say certain jokes on this show. Cara Philly, Olivia Tafolla.
Dead.
Kara's our timekeeper today, and Olivia's our
I know.
our censor.
Yep.
Well, she's always our censor. But
Yeah, thank
Tell
you.
me, John, are you ready to eat Dave's Hot Chicken 3 weeks in a row? Because I'm kind of ready.
Yeah, I love it. You want to talk about Dave's Hot Chicken for a second?
Oh,
New place in
Do I
Santee.
ever.
And I didn't know it existed until you guys showed it to me 3 weeks ago, and it's incredible.
it's pretty fantastic. Have you had hot chicken before? Or was this your first?
This is my first time.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I thought it was like, I was worried about spice because I like spice, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if it's just over the line of too spicy,
Yeah.
it ruins the whole meal for me. Do you have that? You like to
No,
be tortured.
I love to be tortured. Well, I need to know that
Yikes.
I'm going into it.
Yikes.
Yeah, cut that
You
sound
literally,
bite. What?
I missed it.
Nothing. Just said I
come
like
on.
to
You
be
literally
tortured.
get it.
That's not that bad. It's
was
great.
funny. It was
It's funny. Olivia, do you like Dave's Hot Chicken?
I'm a big fan, yeah.
Well, last time we went, you got something else.
Okay,
so.
well, yeah, last time. Okay, so I had been to a different hot chicken place, and I was assuming that the flavors were going to be similar. And so
You're talking about Flustercluck?
yes. So I ordered no spice.
Way to get the
'cause I
name right
always
the
get-
first time.
Yeah,
I love Flustercluck.
And so I got no spice thinking that it would still have the seasoning, but it was just fried chicken. So when I got Dave's Hot Chicken, it was really good, but it was just fried chicken, like a fried chicken
Because
sandwich.
that's the distinction
Yeah.
of the hot chicken is it is fried chicken, but then to make it the Nashville hot, they
It has,
rub
like, the
on that.
seasoning.
It's like the cayenne pepper, the
Well, 'cause
paprika,
I think-
the spice
yeah.
mix.
I think that the Flustercluck place, even the no spice, they still use like paprika.
Yeah, so
just
that's-
not like the actual
Eh,
cayenne.
I don't
Next
know.
time
Well
I go
said.
back, I'm going to have to get the seasoning.
To answer your question, yes, I love spicy food. I just love it. If I know I'm about to consume, we went to Thai food a couple weeks ago, and I just level 10, hit me up.
Yeah, and it doesn't ruin it for you.
No.
No, not really.
Well, and like I said, if I know I'm about to consume ghost pepper wings, I'm ready
you
for
had
it.
the hot sauce on your channel not too long ago.
Yes, that's right. So I actually ended up buying. You've seen Hot Ones, the show,
Yeah.
I'm sure. And the last dab is supposedly the spiciest hot sauce that they have. They
Yeah.
put a little extra on the last wing, and so I bought it. You can get it online, and wasn't that
I
You
can't
could-
remember
you
your
could
reaction,
literally-
but I imagine it was.
You
It
could
was-
literally buy pepper spray and it's the same
That's
thing.
supposedly it's the same Scoville, which is the level that they measure spiciness, as mace, like pepper spray.
Yep.
Gosh.
Which
I don't know because
It literally, it
afterwards-
just hurt. Like it didn't taste like anything.
Oh, you
It
had
just
it
hurt.
too.
It just hurts your tongue. Like
Oh.
the same with when you get extra hot for Dave's Hot
No,
Chicken.
honestly,
it's the same. It just
You got
hurts.
extra hot last week?
every week I get it.
It just hurts.
Oh, really?
It's fantastic.
It tastes like nothing. It just hurts.
Now that's
like
I
pain.
think the perfect level for me. If I get I tried, my uncle got Reaper which is the super spicy one. And it's like, it's good and it's spicy, but I don't know if I could enjoy it. It's
no longer fun.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Like too much spice.
Well, I got a medium, and I felt really good about the medium. I think I was gonna try getting a high. Is that like
Hot?
Hot is what it's called.
No,
I don't
high
know why
spice,
I thought
I think, is the next one.
spice. That was my bad. Okay, hot. I'm gonna try it tonight. I'm gonna try it on one of my elements.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anyways, enough about chicken. We have a pod deck to do.
I'm gonna be thinking about it the whole
Wait.
show. I'll tell you what.
Go ahead.
You're presenting this week. We're celebrating.
Oh, before we
that's
get into
right.
that.
That's right. Can you remind us of what?
yes, it is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
AAPI.
Woohoo!
And I am presenting this week, and I'm actually really excited. I didn't know why I thought of it. You've been sending us names of people we can choose, which has been super helpful. But when you said Ken Jeong, I think I'm saying that correct.
Ken Jeong.
Ken Jeong. Okay, cool.
Jeong.
Well, you've seen him for sure in something because
Yes.
he's
We love him.
so hilarious. I'll give you a little background. His real name is Kendrick, which I didn't know. I kind of assumed it would just be Ken, but Kendrick, and he's a licensed physician, and he was one before he got into the showbiz.
I love it.
And so I wanted to find out like how he transitioned from like physician to whatever. And I found out that in college he had considered minoring in drama, but did end up not doing it because he really wanted to be in showbiz and comedy. Actually, started in comedy, and he ended up just becoming a physician. Practicing blah blah, and then it said that he was doing comedy at night. So he would like do. As a day,
Doctor
his day
by
job,
day.
he's doing being a doctor, and then he'd do comedy at night. And then I was like, how did he make that like switch of like stop being a physician? Because he's not a physician any longer, although he could be. I think
he's
still
his license
licensed.
is fine.
A doctor.
That's pretty funny.
But what happened was Judd
Apatow.
Apatow. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with names, but Judd was looking for a Asian American actor to play a doctor, but he wanted the actor to have actual physician like background.
Okay.
And so they hired him. They knew he was on the comedy scene, blah blah. Blah. So they hired him, and that's just when he
So
decided
funny.
to go full time.
It's like when you're the perfect, like the stars align. They're like, we need someone that's Asian American, is an actor, but was a doctor. He's like,
That's me.
So yeah, it was kind of like the stars aligned a little bit, which is super cool. And he's been, and that was his first one was Knocked Up. Then the film Knocked Up in 2007. And then he was in Role Models, which I don't think I ever saw. But then his next big notable one was the Hangover series, which
he's just ridiculous in that movie.
so insane. And so I thought it was kind of cool. Like it wasn't like I think what I like about him is he really was kind of helping pave the road, I think, for a lot of Asian Americans in the industry, but also I don't think he was intentionally doing it. I think he just kind of like wanted to do this, and he had a really safe job. Like as a physician, as we know, doctors make good money. Like he could have stayed in that job for his whole life and decided he didn't want to do that. So then he went on and he was in Crazy Rich Asians. He was in Ride Along 2. He was in Community. We all love the show Community.
He was in an episode of The Office.
He was in the episode of The Office.
I think he was in the CPR episode. He was one of the people like taking the class.
Oh, no.
Right?
No, he's in the improv class.
Yeah, he's in Michael's improv
That's
troupe.
right. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
And
That's
he
what it
whispers
is.
in his
So
ear,
funny.
he's like, he said he has a gun, but he can't tell me. Or like he can't say it out loud.
I love The Office.
No, but Community, he's such...
So good at
like,
Community.
he started as like a
Community.
reoccurring character and then just became like part of the cast. And he's just so... Oh my gosh.
Hilarious.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
what I really admire about him is that he just kind of like left his comfortable job to do something that he loved, and he didn't really, wasn't super fearful about, if I would get the next job. It just kind of like worked out for him. Like you said, in his debut kind of in the industry was just like a happenstance of like, he just happened to be the perfect role for this, for Judd and Knocked Up, and it really worked out for him. So I really appreciate him, and like I said, I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, and so when I saw that name as out of like the list of people we could do, I was like, that's the one.
Love him.
And yeah, he's been in a lot of huge stuff, but I mean,
Imagine if you signed up to just like have a primary doctor like
Yeah.
now,
Yeah,
and
Ken
he showed
Jeong
up, and
shows
he's
up.
just like, I'm back doing.
He's like-
I'm back. And you're
Yeah,
like,
the acting gigs are slow nowadays. So
I know that's what's so cool about it too. Is he's still a licensed physician, so he can go back to that at any time, or he could do some sort of 50 if he wanted to. But I don't know. I think it's really inspiring for me because again, it's just like he just kind of gave up his day job. I'm sure it was a lot of like contemplating, and he really thought about it, and, you
Yeah.
know, but it just seemingly is just so like whimsical because it's just like now I'm in the industry, and I'm like, you know, he's like, I think he's one of the funniest actors out there, but his roles in The Hangover were hilarious, and he just like is so funny. But yeah, what do you like him in? Do you know anything that you liked him in?
I mean, specifically Community, just because he's so funny in Community. My favorite bit that he does is like he's living at what's the main guy's
Jeff's house,
Jeff's
right?
house, yeah, and he's like trying to fix everything in Jeff's house. So
Yeah.
he's like continually fixing things, and then like Jeff has to stop him because he's like cutting the legs off of his tables and stuff, and it's
Trying
like
to get it level.
never level.
It's perfectly level. And he puts it up and just like,
6 inches high.
Washes his laundry in his dishwasher, and is just like continually living at his house. It's so funny.
yeah.
He
and
like
also-
tries to give somebody a gift, and Jeff's like, "That's just stuff from my apartment." He's like, "A stapler and cologne. Wow, nice." Like, he's like, "That's just stuff from my apartment."
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I forgot to mention too. He's born in Detroit, Michigan, but his parents were both South Korean immigrants.
Wow.
And his dad got a PhD in economics and
Wow.
actually was a professor at Northern Carolina State University in economics. He's a professor of economics. So,
So impressive.
like, I mean, I imagine it means the world to his family that he's, you know, one, he accomplished so much, and then also he's doing this career change where he's like in the public eye, and I imagine he means a lot to his community, which is inspiring too.
And I think it's just so cool. Like, it's intimidating when you commit to a career, especially, I mean, I couldn't imagine committing to be a doctor. You go to so much school, spend so much money on school, and then to, you know, have enough faith in your own skill and your, you know, what you want to do and be like, yeah, no, I'm going to change. You know, like I'm going to take the path that I think is best for me. You know, because there's so much pressure. I feel like societal pressure of like you have to, you know, commit to what you're doing and then stay with it. But for
Yeah.
him, like he was able to do it both.
Sure, like find your path. you
Yeah,
know?
totally.
And he had that thread too. When I was reading some of the stuff, it was saying that he the summer before he went to med school, he was taking drama classes at a university and like nearby, and like in a lot of his stuff, it's saying like in a sophomore in college when he started to realize he wanted to do drama, but again, just kind of stayed the course of
Yeah.
physician because, you know, I think it was probably the safe option for him. But
Right.
Yep.
super cool.
Gosh,
Love
I
it.
love him.
Love him.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us, John.
Yeah. No. Thanks.
As
for
we
reminding
continue
me.
on
Oh,
our
yeah.
month of honoring Asian American Pacific Islander people. Speaking of pod decks,
Wow.
There's a horrible transition.
that's what we
No,
do
no,
here.
That was good. That was
All
good.
That's
right.
what we
Yeah,
do.
No, gosh.
This I
JK.
have dipped into the next deck,
You are.
the Would You Rather deck. So this is a Would You Rather. It's a red card, so I'm giving out a red card today.
Red card.
Red card on Olivia mostly.
Yes.
Yep.
And by the way, if you're just tuning in to this show, poddex.com, head on over there. This is a company that makes decks of cards, and they're all prompts for podcasts. You can
Really
ask
quickly,
questions.
I had a
Yeah.
friend who bought Podex.
Yes.
Used her code.
Ooh.
And then she like gave him as a gift to my uncle. Like it's my uncle's girlfriend, and my uncle came to me after the fact, like at a family party, and was like, "Hey, those pod decks are really cool."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I know." He's like, "No, it's like great. Like we just like pull a card out and we just like all answer it, and it's super fun." And I'm like, "Wow, this feels like a commercial."
Yeah.
But I'm being genuine. That's genuine. So
Yeah.
check
It's
out
like
that.
those, conversation starters, not just for podcasters, right? Everybody
Yeah, I
likes
think it's
to.
good. It's fun too. Like I think it what it can do is get you, like help you get to know your friends better.
Sure.
Because we do it as as for the show, but it would be fun to answer a couple off air sometime. Maybe.
Yeah, we probably won't do that. But
No, but
this is a
Good
Would
chance.
You Rather.
WTB
So here we go.
for our code. You're gonna say our code? Or?
Oh, yeah. So head on over, poddex.com, use the code WTP,
W.
and get 10% off your order.
yeah.
That
Sorry, I
10%
cut you off. That's
goes
why I
right in my
missed
pocket.
it. Yeah, we're really making money.
Ladies, gentlemen, would you rather take cold showers for the rest of your life, or would you rather never get more than 4 hours of sleep a night ever again?
Cold shower.
Oh my gosh.
Can I take a warm bath?
Nope.
Can I take naps throughout the day?
Don't
Nope.
don't try and twist
What?
this.
You have
guys.
to choose. You have to choose.
Can I still go in jacuzzis?
Choose, prove.
Can I take a nap after I wake up from 4 hours?
Yes, you can still go in jacuzzi. But what would you do? Cold shower the rest of your life, or never get more than 4 hours of sleep?
It's a tough question, and here's why.
I'm curious what John you're gonna say.
I think part of me, I know that 4 hours means I'll be tired all the time. Because if it was like 4 hours, if I knew I could survive on 4 hours, I'd choose 4 hours because I think sleeping is kind of useless. That's another story. But because I would be tired all the time, it is much more like efficient for me to do the cold showers.
I think so too. I think I would just be generally grumpy all the time. But maybe I would too
Love
if
it.
I was taking cold showers.
I don't think here's the thing. Here's the distinction. I would never get used to 4 hours of sleep. I get used to cold showers.
Yeah,
I think so.
for sure.
I think that's the right answer.
See, yeah, because I feel like you can get around. I don't know. Because you can still you can still go in a jacuzzi, right? So like you're not
You're trying to
never
you're
in
trying to
warm
augment the
water.
question here.
I'm just saying like there's
Would you
other
miss
ways
warm
of
water?
being
Is that what you're
warm
saying?
in
Yeah,
water.
sit in the sun.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
like in water.
Yeah.
The sensation of warm water on your body.
Yeah.
guess
Also,
it-
if you don't get enough sleep, you could die. Like sleep deprivation's a big.
Well,
could-
not in
that
this,
could kill
not in
you.
this
You're being
scenario.
the J. Carolina.
Yeah, that's
I'm
a
just saying,
hard.
like, 4
that's a
hours of
hard
sleep, that is
cold
unhealthy.
showers for me. I don't know if I could do the.
I've heard
4
cold
hours of
showers are
sleep is
healthy for
rough.
you too. Is that has anybody else heard
think
that?
so.
Yeah, doing the ice bath stuff is
Yeah.
when you're in. Like, when
It
you're
helps
intense
your
athletics or
nervous
something.
system.
yeah.
I'm not jumping into an ice bath for fun.
No.
Oh,
I feel like I'm not deserving of an ice bath. Go ahead.
they have that in holes, right? He like takes cold showers and then he
Dig
gets used to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shia
dig it.
LaBeouf.
Dig it out.
Oh, dig it up.
No, not
dig
the
it
Bridgerton version.
I like in Bridgerton too that there's no lyrics in any of them. It's just
Yeah.
all like this beautiful instrumental.
I didn't watch that show. A
Next.
You should watch
Yeah,
it.
I didn't watch it either.
It's so good.
little graphic for me,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I'll
for
get
sure.
past it. Whatever.
Do you want to hear my
Gosh.
answer?
Oh,
Oh, Cara, you're still here.
Does anyone want to know what I think? Yes,
ahead.
Kara. Cold showers the rest of your
I
life.
say cold showers because in the olden days they didn't have anything to warm up their water except for the sun.
Yeah,
Okay.
they boiled it.
Well, yeah. But they would,
I love your logic.
you
for
know,
a second.
that's my
Hold on, let's
logic.
break this down.
At some point in
Their
time,
logic
they
is
didn't
that-
have warm water.
in the
Okay.
olden days.
No.
Yes.
Okay, maybe before fire.
Yeah.
So cavemen.
Cold water.
Caveman.
I
Yep.
love it,
Cool.
Kara. Nothing
Thank you.
surprises me.
If you want to talk
Thank
about
you.
cavemen, they used to, bathe in waterfalls and stuff. I mean, come on.
Cold.
You weren't there.
Well, I assume.
Well, that's a big assumption.
Well, I'd like to
An
do
assumption
it.
about cavemen.
I'd like to do it. I'd like to bathe in a waterfall.
Speaking
Okay.
of cold water,
Okay.
Nope.
Elon Musk hosted SNL.
Wow, that transition.
I'm just saying it was bad.
Sure,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying?
Yeah.
Kind of like
So Elon,
Like
let's
cold
talk about that
water.
dude. Let's talk about SNL. What'd you think, John?
I think it's hard because I like Elon Musk.
Okay.
And so
What do you like about him?
I think he's doing a lot of really cool stuff. And I think he is. I mean, the SpaceX part thing is like blah to me. I'm like, it's
Sure.
cool, whatever. But I really like what he's doing with Tesla and like making electric cars cool. I know you guys don't like Teslas. You don't think they're cool. Whatever.
I think. Well, I'm with you. I like the concept of him.
I like the concept. I think he is into renewable energy to some degree. I don't know that we know the full extent of that just yet. But I don't know. I thought him hosting SNL was like, it's kind of random. I think it's kind of SNL trying to stay relevant in some ways, or trying to, again, like be cool, because Elon Musk is in the news no matter what day of the week it is. I don't think he did great, but I don't think anyone was expecting him to do great. He's not a comedian. He's not an actor. And so he kind of is.
I mean, all videos you see him and he's very straight.
It feels
and-
like a movie that him being in SNL feels like we're living in a movie. Like it feels like Tony Stark going on SNL in Marvel,
Yeah.
in the Marvel universe. 'Cause
I mean,
it's like,
but Tony
what?
Stark's cool though. Like Tony
Yeah.
Stark is like charming, and he could like he's Robert Downey Jr. This dude is like not that at all.
well, we saw his.
He's like an actual smart guy.
Yeah. Well, what do you think?
I don't know. I think he's a little stiff, and like I get having him on the show because he's like kind of this like personality now. Like he's just like in the news all the time and like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't like SNL, so it's like
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It tracks for me that he was on the show. I think it makes sense, and I thought he like did well. I think
Yeah.
SNL is not doing well. I think that their script writing is very bad, and that it could be a lot better. And also like there are certain things like I don't fully agree with Elon Musk on because like I mean he even said it in his intro, like he cares about renewable energy, and he also thinks that eventually we'll have to leave Earth, like, so that's why he's investing in like space programs. But what bothers me about that is that it kind of seems like it's like in contradiction of like the problem, you know, like it's like, okay, yeah, he recognizes that there are environmental issues, but at the same time, like he's spending money on other things. Like if you really care about environmental issues, why aren't you like investing in renewable energy solely instead of like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
yeah, I hear what you're saying. Sorry, I got really distracted. So I think your phone was ringing or something.
Oh my.
No,
phone?
I think it's the bass.
There's a lawnmower going on outside.
Is that a lawnmower?
Yeah,
guess
so
so.
what
This
you
is
hear?
I'm sorry. I
That's what it
fully
sounds like.
ruined this whole segment because I'm like, what's that? I just want to make sure it wasn't like a sound thing.
No.
You know what I learned recently?
Go ahead.
Okay.
In the same vein, speaking
Okay.
of what you're saying,
Okay.
is that the amount of energy that it takes to sustain cryptocurrency.
Okay.
No, hear me out. Hear me
Okay.
out. It's like the electrical power. I watched a YouTube video, so I'm just regurgitating
It's
what I
dangerous.
watched. Yeah. But the amount of electricity it takes to power the computer servers that keep like crypto, you know, because the way
Running.
cryptocurrency works, yeah, it's like across tons of computers like all over the world, right? And there's these database centers there, you know, that are mining cryptocurrency or whatever, Bitcoin or whatever. The amount of power that it takes is like terrible for the environment. It's like because it's just running, you know, all these power plants and stuff.
Yeah, I never understood the mining portion of it. Maybe this is a great
Yeah,
talking point.
as much as I can explain
yeah,
it.
Yeah,
I believe
you're our resident
it's
explainer.
basically like your. No, I might be off on that, but like
Okay.
the things that are like it's like the blockchains.
Yeah, I was
that
gonna
have to
say
be
it's like
sustained.
protecting your so like when you sell cryptocurrency it's protected, or like when you own it it's protected. And so these blockchains that are making it like keeping record of you owning that is what's running.
Yeah.
So like when that's running, it's taking up a lot of electricity just because it's so safe.
It's a super hard drive.
got it.
So you know you can open your bank app or whatever, and it's like yeah, John has $10 in his bank account.
about right.
Instead of them having a private server that's like, oh, here's all the money that you own, you know, that you have in U.S. Bank or whatever. It's like a big public thing. So it's like, here's all the money everyone has.
Yeah.
It's like a big internet list. It's like a Google
Basically
Doc,
just a
basically.
catalog of like,
Olivia
okay.
has 10 Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Cara has 8 Bitcoins. Olivia gave Cara 8 Bitcoins. Now Cara has 18 Bitcoins. Whatever. Math.
But
Yeah.
so all that to say,
It's
I
like
think
public
it's
record almost.
I think it's a little strange. I mean, obviously he has a lot of money. He's one of the richest men in the world. So it's like, why, for me, if you really care about the environment, like, why aren't you actually investing in like solar energy
That's
or
kind of
clean
what
energy?
I was. Yeah, sorry.
Like,
That's what I was getting at.
right.
Yeah.
Just like the fact that it's like, okay, yeah, he's like huge in cryptocurrency. Like he's always pumping cryptocurrency. What is he doing to like make it so that it's not harming the environment? And also like, okay, if you care about electric cars, like you're trying to make, you know, revamping electric cars great, but why aren't you making them more affordable so that more people could buy them? Like Teslas are so expensive.
Yeah.
Like obviously the technology's new, but like, I don't know. He has a lot of ideas and I think that's great. And I think he's super smart. Obviously he has billions of dollars, but
Right.
it's just like, for me, like there are problems here on Earth. Like, so the fact that you're spending billions of dollars on SpaceX is like confusing. Like,
well,
I
that's
don't,
this whole thing, right? Is like we're going to be a
Eventually,
multi-planetary human race. You know,
Yeah.
it's not even about like one person. It's about like human race in general.
But like, what
planetary
about the
mindset,
time?
Yada yada.
What about the time we still have here? Like,
Right.
I understand thinking about the future, but like, you're not doing anything to prevent that from being the future.
So I see what you're saying. He's taking like the path of like, you know, there's no hope
It's
kind
inevitable.
of here. I mean,
yes.
if there is
Wall-E.
hope here, it's kind of like, you know, maybe it's kind of impossible to turn around at this point. So let's
Yeah.
look at like what's next. You know, we've had
Yeah.
this conversation on the podcast before too, but yeah, you're right. I mean, one thing I like about Bill Gates is, you know, when he started the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they, whatever, right? They started doing all this really cool stuff around the world, right? And renewable energy. And Bill Gates, if you watch the documentary on Netflix, he's doing a lot of really cool stuff. But what you said is Elon Musk isn't really, as far as we know, isn't doing anything to combat what he's kind of promoting, right?
Yeah.
And Bill Gates,
well, I think he's making a push for like nuclear energy, isn't he? Which is like kind of the answer
on Mars. That's the one thing he said. He was like, it was a whole thing. But what I liked about Bill Gates, which kind of pertains to this too, is like Bill Gates says like, yeah, I take a jet, and he's like, but he buys or he like pays for these. These plants or whatever that turn carbon dioxide into oxygen.
Trees.
Yeah, and he said every time,
They're big.
Big trees.
No,
big
they're not
trees.
trees. It's like a mechanism. But anyways, it's like an actual, Anyways, and he says, so every time he like takes a plane ride, he like pays to like have one of those things built, or he'll like donate to have like 15,000 trees.
That's
planted.
good. I mean, that's good.
epic.
Isn't that crazy?
I
Every
think
time he gets on a
I think
plane,
Bill Gates is
he's like,
cool.
"Plant the
Everything I
trees."
hear about him, I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Going back to SNL though,
Yeah, go
like,
ahead.
okay, so Elon Musk, great.
he's an enigma.
He is an
right?
enigma.
Yeah.
He does crazy things, and like I think it could be one of two things. He could either be incredibly smart, which yes, he probably is, or he's a smart guy, but we're building him up to be this like god.
Mysterious.
Yeah.
And
But
he knows that.
So Elon Musk is aside the point. I thought Elon Musk did the best he could do.
We could have asked for him.
like
Sure.
he's not a comedian.
He's
you
not,
know,
yeah.
So it's up to SNL, the crew
make
of
him
comedians,
funny.
to make him funny. Yeah, and use his skills that he has. And so I have an issue with SNL just because like recently none of their skits, and this is just my personal opinion. Go out, form your own opinions, but none of their skits are funny. And in fact, they're so bad that I'm confused whether or not SNL actually created them. Like, and I know, like, obviously when you look back, it's not like every skit's a winner. It's not like, oh, I can look back at the seasons that I love and be like, yeah, every single one of those skits are funny. But it's significantly better than the skits that are happening now. And it's not because I'm loyal. It's not like I watched SNL like every Saturday when I was younger. It's legitimately because they're better. Like the skits now aren't even following like comedic rules. Like it's not even like, oh, the rule of three, or it has a like consistent joke, or like, like there's no game and none of it is funny. Yeah, it's like
there's this thing that happens,
disorganized.
and I don't know if we've talked about it on the show, but like any skit, if you like, obviously, like you said, like these are big statements, form your own opinions. In a lot of skits that I've seen, we've kind of tracked it where like the skit will go and the amount of time, like almost to the 80%, 90%, like the skit's about to wrap up and they'll introduce like a different, so that last one. So we just watched this sketch where they're all in a saloon and Elon Musk is like this like newfangled, like cowboy. He's like, what if instead of like shooting the prospectors, we dug a tunnel under them and it's very efficient. Like the concept's kind of funny, but it was like not great, whatever. And then at the very end, it was like, it just starts spinning out where like Kyle Mooney's on the ground and he's like the bar, owner or whatever. And it was funny because right off the bat, he's like sitting on the floor and he got shot and he's like, oh, I'm not going to make it. And then at the end, they like circle back to him and they like sing a song about him. And then it's like, we'll all remember Ted. Like, yeah. And that's the end of the sketch.
Was not
it's like, that was not the
point.
focus. So that's what I mean. Like these sketches will go at a certain point and then it's like they feel like they need to be wacky or like they can't like
they don't know how to wrap
find
it
the
up.
button. So they go, look at this other weird thing.
It's like,
makes no sense to me.
It's baffling to me because they take so much material like Elon Musk and everything that he's doing, and then they just go one joke at a time and just like write off things that he's doing.
Yeah.
And it's not even making comments on it. It's literally just telling us what he's doing. Like it's like, oh, this horse is plugged in because it's an electric horse and it's self-driving. Haha. It's like, okay, that's one joke. And then it's like, we're talking about tunnels. He wants to dig tunnels in LA. So let's just mention that. And they mention it. Yeah. It's none of it is like, oh, this is really funny because blah, blah, blah. It's not commenting on the fact that like, he's an alien.
Elon Musk, but he's a cowboy.
It's literally just Elon Musk as a cowboy. Like, it's, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, I feel like there's so much potential there.
Yeah.
And even the actors are so funny, but they're not being utilized well. Like, I don't know. It's just
I guess it's weird, too, because it's like they can't really make fun of him. because he's there. Like if he was like,
you can though.
I mean, you can.
That's
but
that's
I don't know
literally
if
SNL.
he knows like that it's a meme or not. You know what I mean?
Like his feelings would actually be hurt.
Yeah. Well, and not even like
That would be if he was real.
if he realizes that they're even like
If he felt
it's a
true
joke.
human emotion.
Like if they made a joke about Bitcoin and not just like acknowledge Bitcoin.
See, but
Yeah.
he's
And they
ironic.
went
Like that's his
hard.
whole
I
thing.
can't
Is
tell.
he always?
Is he?
No, he always makes jokes about himself. That's why I'm like confused why
That's why I
they
feel
were
like
like dancing
I think
around
he's
it.
But
just
is
like
it
a
because
narcissist,
he
like-
thinks that other people think it's funny, or
But
like
he
he's
even
just
said
saying
it
it
too
just
on the show.
'cause.
He's like, I'm just like my brain works differently. Like he thinks he's so smart. You know, like he probably is, but he's like how can I put it in words that you'll understand?
Well, and he said
like
that whole bit
peasantry.
about like I build rockets and I reinvented electric cars. Did you
Yeah.
expect me to be like what charming to it? I'm like
Like-
I don't know if that was like the script writers or if you think like
it was
he
probably
was
both.
portraying that.
I mean, it's probably
Do
both.
you think he's like
but
that in real life though? Like in the
No,
office? I don't think
no.
he's like that.
He
I
must
think
be right. Like,
I
No,
think he's
I don't
someone
think
who's
so.
very to himself. Like he's not
Yeah.
like
yeah.
I when I picture him, I think of like walking past like his desk or whatever, and then him just looking up and like glaring at you, and you being like keep
I saw a
walking.
back to
TikTok.
work.
I saw a TikTok and it was somebody who like she obviously like was married to a guy who worked in one of Elon's things, like I
Okay.
think it was SpaceX or something.
Yeah.
Super casual. And she said she like made cookies for him to take to work or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And he had him out on his desk, blah, blah, blah. And like Elon walked by and one of his security guards came back and like, hey, and it was like, hey, can
Elon have a
Elon
cookie?
have a cookie?
Oh my gosh!
And he was like, yeah, sure, of course. And so he took one over.
I can't.
And then Elon ate it. He like looked over and Elon ate it. And then he sent the security guard back. And he's like, hey, can Elon have another one? He's like, yeah. And he's like, where did you get these? And he's like, my wife made them. And the security guard's like, hey, he's like, oh, okay. Because Elon wanted to know just in case he wants
He wants
some
another
more.
one. Oh my gosh!
And it was like this girl. It was this girl. She was making a TikTok making the cookies, and she's like, "These are the cookies." So Elon was like,
That's like the
"Isn't
biggest
that
compliment.
weird?" But I think it says a lot
don't know if I
about.
buy that.
Even though it says a lot. Well, yeah, it might be fake. That's true. But I think it does. If it's true, it says a lot about like him. You
How
know,
he
like,
operates.
Sure.
Even at work, he has like security guards. Like
Yeah.
at his. I'm sure he has
I
a
mean,
ton of
at
offices.
one point
but
he was the richest man in the world. He was
for a
worth,
hot second.
Yeah,
Hot sec.
yeah, and then Jeff Bezos.
He
What's the deal with these billion? Well, in the skit too. I think it was who's the guy with the last name Chia or Chi or whatever. I don't know. He does the desk one. What's it
Michael
called?
Che.
Yeah,
Michael
Michael
Che.
Che. And he's like, what's with billionaire white dudes like making like wanting to get to space? And I think there's like something there. Like what
Like,
is the
why?
deal with like rich people wanting to go to space? Is it like a status symbol? Do you think?
It's totally what it is.
That's like the first
course.
billionaire.
Well, because
to,
it's
build
like such a
colony in
hard thing.
space?
Like
So
whenever
freaking
anything goes
weird.
into space, it's literally the biggest deal ever.
It's just so removed
Yeah.
from actual society, which I think is why so many rich people do it, because they like are so disconnected from like reality that they're like, yeah, we have the money to do this. Let's just go to space. When it's like there's like actual tangible problems, like. You know,
Yeah.
like we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you investing in like things that could actually help our country or like help marginalized groups of people? I just feel like
I saw this
it's selfish.
post that was like comparing how in 2020 we relaunched our like NASA or whatever, right? And Donald Trump launched Space Force, right? And it was all this stuff, and we are like making a launch
Still the
to
best.
go to the build a moon base or whatever.
Space Force.
And somebody compared it to how in the 1960s it was the same thing. There was like the civil rights movement happening. There
Yeah.
was the war in Vietnam, and at the same time,
Landing on the
1969
moon.
we landed on the moon, and it was like
Yeah.
this big thing, and it was just like comparing it to where our focus turns to, as a people, as a I don't know, where the government like seems to like. It's this
Is this a
weird.
conspiracy?
It is. It's as well. It's more like it's a status
History.
symbol, like you said.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let's see where we can achieve America.
Like
Yeah,
what
everyone
can
wants
we?
to win.
Hey, let's beat the Russians. Like, easy. Not easy win. Obviously, it's
But
like a
just
lot
to
of
like redirect
effort. Yeah,
focus.
it's almost like its own kind of. I don't want to say propaganda, but it's like, how awesome are we? Like,
Well, I think there's probably some heat because I'm sure you've seen in the news about that Chinese
The rocket.
the rocket they sent up and they lost control of it and it's literally like set to
They
to,
lost
like, come down.
connection.
Like
Well,
the Wi-Fi's bad in the facility. They're like,
Oh,
we lost
no.
connection.
well, what happened was, I
Can you
guess,
imagine the guy's like, sir,
The server's down.
My
When it-
Bluetooth is impairing.
when it launched, I think if I read it correctly or heard it correctly, it was like when the rocket launched, it took a piece of the landing pad. So the rocket went to where it was going, but the landing pad was still attached and then fell off.
No.
And it's supposedly as big as like a house or something.
Oh,
it's like
it
massive.
landed.
Did it fall? Where'd it
Yeah.
go?
Where was it?
Well, because there was a girl on TikTok who she was.
Okay.
I think she was a
verify it?
scientist, and she was like the only TikToker talking about it. And she had this
So it's
series.
probably legit.
No, but it landed 2 days ago because that was like, oh, it's expected to land on
Yeah.
May 8th or
Yeah.
whatever 2 days ago was. And it landed, the fragments landed in the Indian Ocean.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it fell in the ocean.
Nobody got hurt.
Nope.
But isn't that crazy that like, because we're talking about space and all
Yeah.
this, like how like someone's mistake could literally be so dangerous. And there's like with this situation with the Chinese rocket, it was like they didn't know where or when. We were all just like all gonna find out when it
Yeah.
fell from the sky.
I love the picture that they gave us of like, this might be where it falls. And it's like half the globe.
It's gonna fall somewhere here,
yeah, I
and it's
saw
like
that.
from North America all the way over to China.
Yep.
It's like anywhere in this middle part, like really near there.
Gosh.
But I mean, I think that's kind of the scary side of it, right? It's
you
like
do your
it's all
math
fun
wrong.
and game
Yeah.
where you're like, we're inspiring people, and we've talked about how space and in sports and things like that, they inspire like population, and there's merit to that. But I think there's also a scary part where it's like Elon Musk, he's got this really cool space program, but who's to say that doesn't happen to one of his rockets or and then it becomes a really scary thing. There's a lot of responsibility with it too.
Of course.
So I think it says a lot about Elon, and it's like, he doesn't have to do this.
Yeah.
He's a millionaire no matter what.
So now he's like, going after the next frontier because you're so rich and you're so powerful. You have this like, I'm doing this for humanity. It's
That's
not about
what's
me.
so.
It's like,
I think that's what's
are you
upsetting to me
still?
is that it's not about humanity. Because if it was about, if you really wanted to be a humanitarian with your billions of dollars, then invest in the world you live in.
Dogecoin.
Like,
Okay.
yeah,
put it all in Ethereum.
like really.
Which I think if he
it's so
if he really put all of his
messed.
energy into Tesla, that's like
yeah,
what
I
it
mean,
would be
like,
start
renewable
changing
energy, electric cars.
if you want to make electric cars,
Like
make them
factories,
affordable.
too.
Like make.
Yeah, a lot of his stuff, he's employing a lot of people too in the U.S. with all of his stuff.
But make
yeah.
it like make Teslas affordable for like regular people to buy.
But if you have
an
this
electric car.
vision of like, a world where humans don't just live on Earth, they live on multiple planets and
With
they're like
robots.
inhabiting the universe. Like, what does it matter if Earth, has electric cars or not? Like,
It's selfish.
I think he's ditching.
Maybe,
I think he's
yeah.
ditching the Earth part, like we've talked about. Like
Yeah.
I think I think he's a realist in that sense, where he's like, if we're gonna make change, and like even if we could make change, say like if everyone got on board, like let's just say everybody agreed to like we're gonna make these changes, we'd have to do it right now, and then the reality of that happening, like it's just not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
And so I think to some degree I agree with what you're saying. He's like why just kind of call it quits on Earth. I think he is making a semi-mature decision where he's like, hey, listen, if we get there, great, but if not, I'm gonna have this option where we can help out this way.
what if we sent like 25% of humanity to Mars?
so Wally.
No,
But
Wally
not
is
as
like
far.
we destroyed the Earth and everybody left.
So Jimmy Neutron.
yeah, what if all the parents were gone?
Yeah,
What if it was
yeah.
just like no parents?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
She's
then-
like trying to find a Disney reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like speaking of Jimmy Neutron.
Nickelodeon.
Because then theoretically 25% of emissions are cut, right?
Yeah.
But won't you?
I guess
still
depending on what people you're sending, right?
populate. Like, how do you even decide?
I just want to say like maybe Thanos was right, like
Oh my
wipe out half
God.
of humanity.
50%.
That is
Wow.
literally the most
The
And so
terrifying.
what if
50% who
that-
uses the
What
most
if
emissions.
they didn't get snapped away into nothingness? What if they just went to Mars?
So stupid.
But then there's already like buildings, everything there, and then they can ruin that planet too.
Like, okay, so let's talk about like what
Just
about like homelessness? Like, what is he doing to help homelessness, or like
Right.
the opioid crisis? Like, what is it? Like,
Right.
there are so many things. Like, you're spending so much money.
Yeah, but here, and let me throw this theory at you. And
Okay.
I'm playing devil's advocate because I
And I'm
agree
Sure.
with you.
I'm
Okay.
sure I.
But in the same way that we've talked about like social media and influence, like
Yeah.
is it their responsibility? And really, it's not.
Right.
Like to some degree, like just because he is a millionaire, is he inherently responsible to take care of these very real world problems?
Right. And guarantee right now you could go on to
He acts like he's helping them, though. He acts like he's helping the human race, but he's not.
But where do you start? I mean, there's so many problems in this world.
So he's taking what he loves, like engineering and like electricity and renewable energy, right? And he started this Tesla car, and albeit it's a luxury car, it's not like affordable yet. You know, I think it could eventually get there. So I think that's actually a pretty realistic step towards like helping, right?
But isn't it kind of elitist too? Like, like
renewable
this is for
energy
rich people.
is for everybody.
No, it's not though. It's not offered
he makes
to
Tesla
everyone.
batteries. He makes Tesla they have the roof tiles that are solar panels. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, I don't even mean like just the idea of renewable energy is for the whole world, right?
Sure, but he's not doing anything to give it to the whole world.
Well, you don't know that.
By
I've
making
done
Teslas, I'm saying
my research on like buying a Tesla, it's right now it's the equivalent to buying a brand new Toyota Camry. So if yes, because Toyota Camrys are expensive nowadays.
It's like $30,000. I mean, that's like the cheapest option, and that's not. I was
gonna say, I thought Teslas were like 80 grand or something.
I paid 36 for my Prius. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like if you want renewable energy.
Wow, $3,600. That's
wow. I wish it was $3,600. But like at the time, like they didn't have that option.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I would have bought a Tesla, but I'm saying it is like comparatively, like when you look at the difference. Oh my!
I just had to flex real quick.
Okay. That was not at all what I was.
Back when the Prius was in its like testing stages, I paid like I don't know 50 G's for it, but like now it's a lot cheaper. Now people like you could buy it.
I know what you mean. Though.
Not what I mean.
I mean that is a good question.
I hope anybody that's listening or watching this knows that I'm trying to give you a frame point of like you know, like, and that's so it is affordable. It's not like ideal, like it's not like the badass Tesla you see on TV,
right?
You know? But it is like an affordable. They are trying, and this is like where they're at now. Imagine where they'll be at in 5 years.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I hope to see him do more for.
What was that thing you said?
What
back there?
My gosh, the Swearier is not.
The Swearier has been broken.
Wait, what'd you say? I missed it.
I said badass.
You said badass Tesla.
Yeah. All right.
First of all, can we talk about the Swearier for a second?
Sure.
Can we talk about cussing in general?
What is it geared towards?
No, I'm saying let me just talk about this for a second.
Go ahead.
We're grown up being told by adults like, oh yeah, don't cuss, blah 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 blah.
Well,
blah.
some people are.
Which you're right. Not everybody grows up.
All of
in
us.
The same.
I know all of us in this room.
All four of us
taught not to cuss.
So it's like, and it's kind of a weird societal thing too. Like, oh, R-rated movies are like, you know, like they're worse because they have cuss words. Whatever. It's neither here nor there. I just think it's interesting. Like, why do we give so much value to cuss words? And is it good? And does it matter?
Here's a
lot of questions.
Well, that's like that. They made that series, right? Like, where did cuss words come
with
from?
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
We never watched it.
It was kind of a while, man.
Really?
Too much for you? You say too many bad words.
Like, do you think cussing is a
back off? First of all,
like,
you
do you
broke
think
the Swearier, bro. So
okay, whatever. You're right.
Do you think cussing is like a crutch for people? Is that why it's like people don't like it?
I think
that's a good reason. I think more what you're starting to get at with like movies and America and stuff. I don't know if we've talked about it on the show explicitly, but like we love taboo, right?
Yeah.
Like, if as soon as you say like, oh, don't say that word, that's a bad word. It's
like the mystery around
I'm gonna
it.
say it.
Yeah.
But I will say I don't love when it's like a crutch, like you said, like when people.
For you, it's mostly
get a
for
small
music
vocabulary. What do you mean?
Like, going back to Taylor Swift,
Go ahead.
in her newest album, she like a couple songs she cusses like. It's explicit now, and that's when you were like, "Oh, me, that's like a crutch."
Okay, cut to my camera.
Go ahead.
Because here's my manifesto on this.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I think it is in your intention of like, why are you using this word?
Okay.
So, like you said, like if you're saying a word because like that's just your vocabulary, and you can't like express yourself without being like, "Oh, this is effing great," like "F that," "F this," whatever. Then it's like,
what does that mean though? What's F?
Freaking. That's freaking great.
You want to take it to the next level?
No.
not this week.
Let's get that.
I got to build up to it.
Wait, can I get a little background? I'm going to let you finish in a second. I'm totally Kanye West right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then, since we're talking about Taylor Swift, the Swearier, for anybody who's watching or listening who doesn't know what the Swearier is, in the beginning of the show, we were deciding on whether or not we would feel comfortable like using casual curse words, and like curse words,
what even
right?
Avada Kedavra.
And I think we were trying to. In the beginning, we wanted to keep it kind of, I always never really I guess I'm the one that broke it, so I'm kind of a hypocrite.
Go ahead. Yeah, you are.
I never thought like using the F word or whatever, right? I don't think it ever helped anything.
Sure.
You know, like I always felt like you were saying, it's kind of a crutch. And so in the beginning, we decided not to use any quote unquote curse words. And I've broken that. Now using that. And so that's what when we're referring to the swearier, it was our pact to use.
Well,
to
not
use
swearing
and it kind of
barrier.
went unspoken for a while, just like, you know, and like I was kind of saying, like, you know, being family friendly, you know, is like one thing.
Is
and
that
then
a
like
brand?
I don't know necessarily.
Well, also
but,
because like
we're not
you
doing
know
decide.
we like worked in like family environments
You decide.
Sure.
for a long time,
You know.
so you know.
And it's like,
You decide.
Okay, that's
oh,
enough.
it's on
Oh my
it.
God.
hey,
That's
leave a
enough.
comment below your favorite cuss word.
J.K. Rowling. Oh, hey, that's a great idea.
Yeah, we'll get some good comments. But
and
you know
finish
what I
it.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, I guess that's
so
my whole
for
point.
you, did it feel like it didn't fit Taylor's brand?
Yes.
Which,
I
like,
think Taylor
what even
Swift,
is her brand?
And sure, but like,
We're not
and
getting
what
into this
brand?
again.
What brand is cuss words? You know,
Yeah.
does that make somebody trashy? You know,
Right.
does that make somebody like, you know, am I using these words because they're a crutch, or like I'm, you know, not smart enough to use different words? Like,
Because I've found like sometimes jokes are funnier when they use a cuss word.
and why is that? You think?
I think cuss words sometimes have a lot of power. Mm-hmm. So when you hear someone say only cuss words, it's
So
like,
is it the shock
yeah, it's not
factor?
as shocking. Yeah.
Are you trying to elicit a response?
Well,
Like-
wasn't that what that show was about? Was
Mm-hmm.
like that us as people have given these words that power, and if you
Right.
just take
Yes.
away that power, then it's like it's a normal word.
Because because that's like, so what's so interesting about language is like
Yeah.
we give them meaning, and so
'Cause it
you
helps us to
you're
communicate.
saying a word, yeah, exactly, like you're communicating like a strong feeling by saying a cuss word. But then, like you said, like if you're just saying it, if that's just your sentence enhancer, it's like, well, I don't know, like, are you just dumb, or are you just like, that's just your thing, you know? I don't know, like,
And
Like-
is that bad?
Well,
Is
like
it-
in my preference, I don't want to be hanging out with someone who throws an F word like every other word in a sentence, like
right. And why is that? Because of like what we think about a person that does that,
or
right?
that's like their like when someone says like or like it's their sentence filler, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've met a couple
Gosh.
people like that.
They'll just
I
casually
was in
drop
school
'em.
for speech for communications for a bit, and there was this exercise we did where you weren't able to use filler words.
Yeah.
So you'd
Sucks.
have a conversation, and instead of using a filler word, you would just pause until
hate
you
that.
thought
That's
about
rough.
what you needed to put in next, and it was extremely difficult.
Yeah.
I do it really bad.
That was like eighth
I'm bad
grade.
at the uhs and the like.
I noticed when I hang out with certain groups of friends, when I come home, my mom's like, like. I'm
Really?
like, what are you talking about? And then I don't even realize.
talk like a Valley
and then I
girl.
start
Well,
thinking
I was
about
gonna
what I'm
say it's
saying,
California Valley
And I'm
girl.
like, I sound like an idiot. I've said it like 20 times. I don't even like think about it. But at the same time, like, there
was.
is.
The light counter. Well,
Does it even matter? You know?
I think with curse words, which is kind of what we're narrowing in on in this situation, is I think it does to some degree.
Yeah.
I mean, and what sucks is like we have no real power over it. Like whether we like it or not, these words are classified as like negative
Taboo.
or taboo, right?
Yeah.
And so like by us using them, are we like pioneering it? No,
No,
in my
of course.
opinion, we're just now being labeled as a podcast that uses curse words. Explicit is what they call it, you know. And
what does that
I don't
mean?
know.
Like, you said a word, like, was it taken out of context? Like, no, that's just a bad word. Like, well, were we talking about content that was like, explicit? Like, if we were like saying something that was, I don't know, if what we were talking about was like, a touchy subject or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a little different.
Like,
don't
if we
know.
were being
The
like, I don't know,
connotation
if
of
we were
it?
being like super sexual and like using bad words, and it's like that, okay, yeah, I don't know if I necessarily want to like watch that, consume that, but to each his own too. It's
Right.
like media is.
well, yeah.
Subjective.
And
A
I think I've
multi-feathered
talked to
bird.
you about this before too. Like podcasts, I used to watch podcast. It was a video podcast, and I had to stop watching it because it's like they're funny and like they use curse words or
Yeah.
whatever, and that was no big. That part wasn't the problem, but like the content that they kept going back to was just like is so toxic for
Yeah.
me specifically.
Sure.
Not necessarily as somebody else. And so like I think it's interesting that again that's my fear with the Swearier is I want to create content that I feel comfortable, watching myself and feel comfortable, and again, the cursing necessarily isn't one of those things for me specifically. It's usually the topics, and all of our topics have been great, and we've had such a good time on the show. But I just fear that, a good listener or a good viewer might go, I really like these guys, they're really funny, and the whole crew is hilarious, but they're dropping a lot of F-bombs, and it's just like, and they're like, I that's just not who they are,
Sure.
And so I'm not saying
that, and that goes with
that, but
I mean, well, kind of you are.
I mean, I am saying that. I wish it wasn't that way.
Sure.
Because it's no secret. Off air, I'm not opposed to using a curse word in a conversation with a friend. It's just something about, and it's the internet too, right?
Yeah.
Like we're posting this to the internet, and there's not like, it's not on there forever, but there is potential that it could be, to some degree.
Do you think cuss words have been more normalized?
Yes.
Because I feel like in the past,
I think it's just growing up.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, because I was gonna say like,
I think it's normalized.
in like the 60s and 70s, when you see interviews, it's never like people are like celebrities at least aren't cussing on their interviews. But
I think
now you see it more.
I think it's different too, because back then it was different. Like cuss words, like saying, like calling someone a prude was like a big like that's normalized. A big thing back then too.
1,000% normalized. I think the way people talk, like if you look at like our parents, and I don't know, I guess it also probably, there's a lot of factors involved, but like my parents would like never, like maybe once in a while.
But think of them like in high school.
So when did your parents break the Swearier, do you think?
Well, like, for us, I mean, it was probably like when my sister was in high school. It was like, and then even to this day, my dad will rarely ever say a curse word.
Sure.
My mom's a little more, like we're all adults, whatever,
Yeah.
Is that the same for you guys? Are your parents like
More
big
or
cussers?
less? No, not big.
No.
Definitely not big. But like you said, like if you're gonna like say something funny or whatever, like my mom definitely not. She's like, no, I don't like swearing. Like,
See, that's like my dad.
yeah.
It's interesting because there is something a little unsettling when you watch a movie and like a little kid in the movie says a cuss word and you're like, oh.
Well,
Have you ever seen a kid in real life say cuss words?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yes.
that's the worst part for me. I'm like,
But I don't know, like what bothers me so much, because if like an adult says a cuss word, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah,
That's
whatever.
that's the growing up factor. Like
exactly.
when you're young, it's like, don't say that word, don't say that. And then
Yeah.
you see someone your age say, and you're
Taboo.
like, no, that's bad. But now
You
when
grow
you
up
see
and
someone
you're like,
our age
whatever.
or older, it's like, yeah, all right.
Is
It
one
doesn't
of
even
those
really
things-
faze me anymore.
Is
I
it
don't
one of those
think.
things we grew up like wanting to get to that age?
Yeah.
Like I'll be honest. When I was a kid, I was like, I can't wait to like this with a lot of other things, like be in my own place, or and like I think cussing was one of those things for me. I was like, I can just kind of say whatever I want.
When you were like 8 and you were like, one day I'm going to be able to say
no
stupid.
repercussions behind like saying
Stupid.
that word, right? Because when you're at your own devices. But then I think also you do that same realization switches where it's like, okay, but who do I want to be? Do I want to be somebody who cusses,
Right.
and what comes with that?
And also, what does that mean to be someone that cusses? Like,
That's
does that
true.
change who you are? No.
If you
Does it?
find
I don't
someone
know.
who says the F word in every sentence 5 times, then
Like,
Does
I
that
think
make
that's
them
where
a
it might be.
like bad person? Does
No.
that make them like like not
just someone who needs
like
to
an
clean
unschooled
up
person?
their
Yeah.
vocabulary a little bit.
It's interesting because it's like, I think it could be easy to like fall back on like cuss words if you like get really comfortable and you're like just throwing around cuss words all
Yeah.
the time. So I could see how that would limit you when you're trying to express yourself and you can't fully express yourself because you're not using as much vocabulary. But does that make you a bad person? No.
The irony is like the power that cuss words have is the power we give it.
Right.
Like, if everyone decided, again, this goes back to everything we've been talking about. Like, if everyone decided to just all go, these words, they're not bad words anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you can use all these words when you're like when you stub your toe, or when you're pissed, or when you're excited.
Yeah.
Then it would lose all its power.
That's
It's
true.
the
But then
idea.
someone would make up new words.
It's
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 the
a taboo.
cycle.
It's in the way that you use it, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. So the whole thing about the Swearier is like, I never felt like, and I think we all feel the same way. I never felt the need until today, obviously, like to use a word that, like one of those, words.
Badass.
Right? Yeah. Well, now that's on
Ryan.
the white list.
Everybody say your favorite curse word.
No.
I'll say
Oh my god,
badass
wait,
again.
I have to tell a story.
Oh, go ahead.
So growing up, I was always like, no, I'm never going to say a cuss word. Like,
No way.
I
Oh,
committed. I was
story's
like, I
funny.
will never. And one time, Ryan and I were driving home, and I was in the car with him, and he was like, Olivia, I need you to say a cuss word. And I was like, no.
This is such a Ryan thing.
I was like, I'm
Olivia,
not going
say
to.
a bad word right now. I was like, Mom and Dad aren't here. We're in the car. Just say one.
I'm like, no, Ryan,
Because
I won't.
it wasn't just like out of the blue. It was like we were talking about that. Like how
And
you
I
were
was
like,
like-
I've never like said a curse word before. I was like, do it right now. Do it right
Rip it
now.
off. Let's
Olivia,
do this.
say it. I don't care
was
which one. Just
so
say it.
Funny. And then I said it, and I was like, okay. Like, I said it.
What did you say? We don't have to
I was
actually
like,
say it.
Olivia, say a bad word. And she's like, no. I was like, do it. You have to do it. And she goes,
Was it hushed like that too?
Yeah,
exactly like that.
It was.
oh, it's my favorite
Well, the
Olivia
Swearier
story.
is broken now.
The
I mean,
Swearier is cracked.
It's a new world we're in.
Yeah.
Think about next
I
episode.
kind of think we have more
Hey
freedom
guys,
now.
it only took 25 episodes.
God, I feel terrible. I'm gonna.
I'm sick
that
to
you
my
broke
You
stomach.
it?
did it. I know,
Out of
John.
all the people,
John.
You won.
It had to be.
You won the race.
It's like when
had
Jim like
to
says
be.
that Pam's pregnant at the toast in the office
What am I
Niagara.
doing?
Yeah, of all people, because these two are like cursing all the time on the show, so it's like
Well, you know
off
what?
the show. I mean,
Here's what I'll say. I don't. I'm fine with it not being like us being able to say, well, you know, whatever we want, because I trust all of you. You
Yeah.
know, like that's the reality. It was never like a concern of mine.
No.
But now it's like, you know,
and
with-
like you said,
with-
we didn't even talk about it the first couple episodes. We just did it. You know,
Yeah.
like
Well, yeah, it's like
discretion,
we're
right?
not gonna use it like on purpose to use it. Like it just came out for you. So
Whoa.
talking about Teslas.
Got a
I
bad
knew I'd
mouth.
come out so passionate about that.
I just love Teslas.
I do want a Tesla. I will say that. Can I talk to you guys about one topic?
Nothing.
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead, go ahead.
I want to know what we think. It's rapidly approaching, and I think there is also maybe room for an event or a live stream or something.
Go ahead.
Have you heard about the Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather
yes,
boxing match?
I
care.
watched Logan Paul fight somebody, like one of his first fights, and it was like,
He's 0-1, by the
Cool.
way. He has not won a boxing
okay,
match.
no.
yeah.
Can I tell you,
Go ahead. No, this is the point of this.
you hate
segment.
him.
I hate
The Paul brothers.
the Paul brothers.
Oh wow.
I dislike them.
What do you not like
immensely.
about them?
That they're famous.
Okay.
I think there is nothing special about them.
You think they're just like disrespectful
They're just
brats?
like-
Yes, they are.
You know what?
I haven't dove like very deep into that whole
into
conspiracy.
it.
Oh my
but
gosh,
they're,
the
like,
Shane
psycho,
Dawson
right?
one.
Like, they're supposed to be
Yeah.
psycho.
and
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're
Like,
psychopaths,
Word on the
yeah.
street is
so that being said, I don't care. Like, sure, get beat up by like UFC fighters. Go ahead. Like,
Do you think
cool.
that there is a realm of possibility where Logan comes out of this boxing match
no
victorious?
way? That's like me trying to fight that.
No,
dude.
he's literally
Like,
going to be knocked out.
That's somebody that does that for a living.
So there was a press.
That dude is
Yeah,
scary.
and well, I think it's kind of interesting because it raises two questions for me. One, why? You know, Floyd is 50-0. He's never lost
Yep.
a match,
Wow.
and
It's for the clout.
And I get it, but he's so
yeah.
rich.
Yeah.
It can't be for the clout because he's so rich. He has like a billion Bugattis and like private jet. Like he's like money.
Do you think part of him wants to be knocked out?
I think what he's doing, and in the press conference, they had a press conference. It was very interesting, and basically he's saying, I think from what I got is Floyd wants to like shut him up.
Yeah.
oh yeah, if I was that dude, I'd.
Well, I
wanna
feel
beat
like
him up
he's been
too.
talking about this
I
for.
can beat him up. Like I know I can do it.
He's been talking about this for over a year.
Logan's been baiting him for a
Yeah.
long
I
time.
hate it. I hate it so much. And
Well,
that's something
then-
about like the culture too of like, you know, the pay-per-view fight, you know, like
Oh,
the
gosh.
build up to it. I'm like,
Can we
Yeah,
talk about
it's just
that?
so obnoxious.
That
What?
I'm pretty sure all of us, when we were younger, thought it was pay-per-view, like
Yeah.
paper
I for
and
sure
view,
thought it
and
was
it's
pay-per-view.
not
Pay-per-view.
pay
Well, Jay-
per view.
Per view.
Look, get into this. Oh, you just found out? Oh my gosh, you just found out. It's pay per view.
You pay X
Don't
amount of
talk to
dollars
me.
per view
Don't
of
Don't
the
call,
show.
don't text.
But I have a really interesting fact while she's recovering.
Wow.
Jake just fought what was his name?
Justin Bieber.
The other guy.
No. He was a former MMA. He's retired
Um,
now. What's his name? I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
Mike Tyson?
No way.
Wait,
Didn't he
who's
fight Mike
who's
Tyson?
Logan
Wait.
Paul fighting right
No,
now?
he fought Mike
McGregor.
Tyson.
No, he fought McGregor, didn't he?
No. Jake Paul, his brother, has been like Jake, to his credit, I guess, has been really training for this. Logan, not so
Whatever.
much. But Jake just had a fight, and I want to say he owns the live stream, the pay-per-view kind of thing. It's called Triller or something, whatever. He made, guess how much money he made on
I don't
the one
want
night
to know.
alone?
I don't want
like
$1 million.
$4 million.
Oh no,
Yeah,
Mike Tyson
No,
did
no,
a
no,
different.
you're wrong. Because he
10 million.
He owns this company.
Oh, he made $100 million.
He made
Guaranteed.
$68 million in one night.
Kill me.
And like $1 million of it was him actually winning the fight. The rest of it was just like him promoting the event. Like it's like his
Jeez.
company, you know.
Well,
Like,
that's why they're doing it.
yeah, and so
There you go.
I think Floyd is trying to shut him up, and Floyd at the press conference even offered to box both of the Paul
the
brothers
same time?
in one night.
Oh, back to back.
Isn't that
Wait,
incredible?
that's so funny.
Good riddance.
I
I'd
realized-
say I kind of want to watch it now.
I
Just
watched
watch
Mike
those guys get
Tyson's
beat
fight.
up.
You should watch it.
Yeah.
Against Roy Jones Jr. That was the other fight. It was like the same night.
Mike Tyson. Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Jake. He
It was like
fought
his
another basketball player that night.
His
Jake
big
Paul did.
return to fighting, right?
Yeah.
But it was one of the undercards. It wasn't
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it was
yeah.
on that, but it was Jake.
It was like
Paul
two
and,
in the same night. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. They do that. They have like a multiple whatever. But Jake and like a pro basketball player. Again, pro basketball player in a boxing match. I mean, that seems to be.
God.
I don't know. I know nothing about, UFC, whatever. So like for me to be like, yeah, you don't, you can't be there. Like, but those dudes are just so like scary.
Toxic.
You watch those things.
I'm
you're
telling
like,
you right now,
that
it's
dude
going to be
kicked
an
my
upset.
behind.
And I think.
Whoa.
I'm not bringing those words.
Oh gosh, yeah. Don't be me. It'll be interesting to watch because I think it's something that will shift the culture. I mean, what do you think?
hope
Do you think
not.
this is only going to embolden the Paul brothers? Or do
Actually,
think it's
you
gonna
know
shut
what?
them up?
We shouldn't watch it.
We shouldn't watch it.
You're,
Well, yeah.
you're putting that dollar right in that dude's pocket.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much
They've done so
Logan's
much.
making,
I feel like
'cause-
they've done so much bad for other people and the world
Well, yeah,
and their
that was one of the
communities.
things
That it's
Floyd said like this is for Japan because Lloyd.
Yes.
Logan did that whole. He had the whole controversy.
The
where
Suicide Forest.
He literally filmed.
Oh yeah, I'll do it for Japan. And that dude's making $70 million. Are you kidding
Floyd?
me?
Yeah.
No, Logan Paul.
yeah, he doesn't deserve it.
I don't know. We'll see.
It's
I
that.
think
Well,
it's
it's
interesting,
that you support with your view, right?
Hey,
Come on, John. You
know
really
me.
you
Say
supporting that
my
guy?
book. Say my first book.
It's for research.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know.
crazy.
It'll be interesting. I think it's hard. Like I said, my first question was like, why is Floyd doing this? He's rich. Like, what's the point? Like risking. I'm not saying he's risking his record, but he is kind of. Like,
I mean,
he's gonna win. I
Yeah.
believe he's gonna win. But I'm saying like to put your record on the line for something for the chance that some stupid YouTuber is gonna beat you. I don't think he will.
He's
but-
not going to. But I will tell you this: it's like he'll play his part, whatever. But I don't know.
And there
Just
was a whole
those Paul
controversy
brothers, man.
at the press conference because Jake came up to Floyd and was like, "You want to fight us both in the same night?" And Floyd's like, "Yeah, like get the contract, I'm ready." And they kind of like Jake kind of just got to nothing where he's just like making noises, and then he took Floyd's hat and he said, "Got your hat," and ran away. Well, that
punch that dude right in the
that lit Floyd up. He went over and like punched like almost broke his nose and stretched his shirt out, and all of his Floyd's entourage just beat the crap out of Jake. And then Logan found out. It was a whole thing. Yeah, you should watch. It's pretty gnarly.
Whoa.
So there's a lot of tension. I don't know if I always
they're
go back to
playing
this.
a game.
Yes.
They're
I always go
They're
back
doing
to
a show. We're watching the show in real time.
I always go back
That
to you
right
on
there is like,
The hype.
oh, okay. Now I want to watch him beat the crap out of him. Like,
Yeah.
wow, who
When I-
cares?
So he's willing to take
Rich
the
people
fall?
making money.
You are
Like,
getting in my head because when I watched that, I would have never, before I started hanging out with
Really?
you, I would have never thought it was like, I always thought like, oh, it's just him being an idiot. Because it's like so
Well,
Jake Paul.
that's because
But now I
Ryan
go-
literally thinks every single thing is planned, which
Yeah,
is
and now I go-
not.
Wait. Because of you, I
wait.
go,
You're
oh my
telling
gosh.
me that on a whim, Jake Paul
Yes,
made
because he's-
$68 million?
No, on a whim, he stole his hat and thought he was
like,
funny.
let's just do this fun show. He's making $70 million from
Okay,
it.
so
There's
let's-
nothing that's
I don't
not
know about-
calculated
I don't know about the
every
Mayweather
moment.
fight, but
How
yeah.
about like the whole thing with like
well.
this is pivoting, but also in the same vein. How about the whole thing with Paris Hilton? How they're like for years everyone was like Paris Hilton is just like a dumb girl.
blonde.
She doesn't
Yeah.
know what she's doing. But now
Paris.
everybody's like, wait, Paris Hilton's actually smart. It's like they are millionaires. Like maybe they're putting on this persona that they're crazy,
Wouldn't you?
because they're making money.
Well, she did because she had a show.
It's like disarming if you think about it. You know, like if you think
you don't expect them to be.
If you go into a meeting with Paris Hilton, you're like, I'm going to be talking to her lawyer. I'm not going to be talking to her. And then she pulls out all this stuff, and you're like, wait, you know all this stuff?
Yeah.
But,
so it's kind of interesting. Like they're millionaires and we're not.
That's
but
what I mean.
They're stupid and we're smart.
But like with YouTube and with TikTok, it's as we know, it's like it's not easy, but all
It's
it takes
easy.
is the right.
Look, it's
spark.
easy to make $1 million on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
How do you keep making money on YouTube?
Right.
You keep doing that.
Yeah.
And a dumb
You're doing what they
person,
know.
right? And a lucky person would do it once and then be like, yeah, I got famous on YouTube, blah, whatever.
Wait, did a new Jeff series video come out?
No. I've been waiting for it.
I was waiting.
I forgot about that.
I forgot about it too.
It's a whole
I don't know,
thing.
even that. Like,
Yeah. I think I just thought it was interesting.
We are seeing what Jake Paul and Logan Paul want us to see in those moments. They're both crazy. I get it. They're both
Are they
probably
psycho
stupid.
or are they smart?
I think you don't make money like that by being stupid.
Here's what I think.
Like,
I think it's hard
more than
because
once.
your influence kind of. I think if you're consistent and you surround yourself with the right people, you can your influence kind of snowballs.
Yeah.
And I think that's. I'd like to think that the Paul brothers have some shred of intelligence, but I honestly think that they got the right people around them.
Yeah.
And the right people are just kind of like, hey, this is what you need to do. And their name and their influence just got bigger and bigger and bigger. I think they are probably decently intelligent. I'm not saying they're idiots, but I'm saying like, I don't think they're any smarter than you and I.
So maybe it's that. Maybe it's
but
not.
But their YouTube
that
videos
dude.
make them look stupid. Like they.
So maybe it is somebody pulling the strings,
and that's somebody in the
making
back,
money
his
off
manager
of them.
going, keep doing what you're doing, and Jake's like, okay, and he's like going out,
and then it's like
that,
cha-ching.
and the tell of that is Logan went off the tracks. I mean, he was doing stupid crap, and then he did that in Japan, and he went too far, and that was his. And then his manager's like,
okay, but then what? But then what happened? But then what happened after that? I mean, he stayed famous. He's still making money. Did we cancel that dude? No.
He took a huge hit, though.
Right. But then he made $70 million on a UFC fight.
Well, that was his brother, but yeah.
I mean, doesn't matter.
Might as well be the same person.
You're right. I mean, but
a blonde dude on YouTube.
But that and that's what's so interesting about this brother dynamic is one of them messes up, but the other one seems to be in the green. So like they're both kind of making it.
They're throwing this ball back and forth, right?
You know, and I think they're. I'm not saying it's intentional, but I think there is something to like having a pair where like when one of them screws up, like their last name, don't worry, Jake's doing great. He's a boxer now, and then Jake does something stupid. It's like Logan's fighting Mayweather, so he's and so I think
always something to talk about
in the football. That's why that show's called "What Podcast with Ryan and John," because when you get canceled, it'll still be like "What the Podcast with Ryan." And
I think we should change the name.
No.
All right, cool. Let's do some TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is it time?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yikes!
It's time.
Sorry. Good conversation today, though.
I mean, always.
We'll get them next week, right? They can't all be winners.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about this. We'll see how this fight goes on June 6th.
I won't. You probably will, though.
I won't watch it.
Yeah. Just tell me how it goes.
I definitely will.
External
I'm not
headphones.
going to be watching it.
External headphones.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was it. Oh, and then you got to bring up the audio.
Wow.
I'm learning.
If you ever wanted to know what 15 years of pro beatboxing sounds like, here it is. Day 1.
Oh my gosh.
What is pro beatboxing?
Week 1.
Just go with it. It's just not a super aesthetic, it's not very...
Oh.
1 year.
Whoa.
That's 1 year.
5 years.
His mouth.
Sounds like a duck.
10 years.
That's pretty good.
15 years.
That is so weird.
I don't know. 5, 10, and 15 were kind of just different variations of the same thing.
No, it's just all different like backtracks,
Wow.
like bass and.
I think he's throwing around the word pro.
Crazy.
Jeez.
I'm a professional
Oh my
beatboxer?
gosh.
Well, I mean, like, professionally
Yes, he was
how?
pro.
Like,
Could you
somebody's paying him to do that?
I mean, could you imagine doing it
I
for
saw this
15
one.
years?
Like,
I
hey,
have.
what are
I've
you
been
doing?
beatboxing for 23 years. What do you mean?
Jeez.
24 years.
Sure.
Come on, Zobby.
Okay. Okay.
We look like brothers.
Oh no.
He's trying to kiss.
I can see
What
you.
the heck?
Really trying to be Dobby.
You look insane.
Oh my god, why?
He just wants to be Dobby.
Dobby's a free out.
He just keeps being your brother.
Come on.
Where is Dobby even there? Yeah, there he is.
Oh gosh.
It's so terrifying.
How is that Hermione? You gonna I just went to the window and someone was looking at me. Just went.
Oh my gosh. He just gave that person nightmares.
Wow.
Jeez.
That person
Oh my
was
gosh.
loving themselves.
He's really loving it.
Here we
Okay.
go.
It's my fave.
I got my peaches out in Georgia.
Let's try it.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. I saw TikTok. I almost should have saved it. It was the owner like showing her friend like her pet snake, and she's like, "Oh, this is my snake," and she like puts her hand out, and the snake just goes. Immediately starts wrapping it around her arm. Oh gosh! And then her friend's like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Oh yeah," and my husband's gonna help me. And her arm starts turning like dark purple. Oh shoot! And then she's so it was like 1 and 2. And then she's like, I was like looking for part 3, couldn't find it. And then I looked in the comments of part 2, and it was like,
She died.
She's like, yeah, sorry, I tried to post part 3, but TikTok keeps taking it down. I'm like,
She died.
Gosh.
I was like, this is why you don't have a pet snake.
Wow.
Oh
Kind of
jeez.
long
No.
though. They're kinda
Snakes are cute.
What?
Little garden snakes.
Ryan, gosh.
God, no.
This place is about to blow.
Okay, Kesha.
Well, that was a interesting week, you guys.
I feel good about it.
I feel.
No, I feel great.
No. I
Don't.
feel good about it. I feel great about it.
You know how good I feel?
Oh
Can
no.
I just break the swear like one more time?
Nah. Save it. Save it.
I'll save them up like the swear jar, right?
We're gonna have to start putting like a warning at the beginning of our show.
Warning. We may or may not say a bad word once.
It depends.
Don't play for your
And then
children
we'll-
all the way through.
We'll definitely talk about it.
We can like replace them with quacks or whatever.
Oh my gosh, the American Idol, a little bubble. That's what I need.
Oh,
Like
podcast.
on the
Yes.
hands. Like, oh my
That's so
gosh,
funny.
that's so funny. That's hilarious. You
Well-
should just beep out a couple words throughout the
Teslas
episode.
are bad.
Isn't that funny? Like sometimes those are funnier when it's like bleeped out
Yeah.
on TV or something.
You
It's
little pip, you little pip.
it's almost funnier to me than
I
actually
can't
hearing
believe
those
you
words.
pipped, and you little pip.
Yeah, like on TLC.
Wow, you're really
you know,
nailing it.
just different shows.
They're so piercing.
It's gonna be really blown out.
So
I just
loud.
can see it now. It's just spike.
Okay, that's enough.
We'll see you next week on
What the
Podcast.
Podcast.